Welcome to Fields of Study from the Masonic Cancer Center. Today, we sit down with Dr. Rachel Vogel. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Max Huber. I'm the Communications and Marketing Manager for the Masonic Cancer Center at the University of Minnesota. We're doing this little series here where we are interviewing some of our faculty and staff to learn more about them, kind of how they're coping with the non-traditional work from home setting that we have going on with us right now. And I have the pleasure to be joined today by Rachel Vogel, who is an assistant professor in the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Women's Health with the University of Minnesota Medical School. Rachel, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Max. I'm excited to tell you about what we're doing.
That's great. So you are a University of Minnesota person through and through, got your master's and your PhD from here, and now you work here. What's kind of your background? How did you get into the world of cancer research?
So that's a great question. It was not my intent when I graduated college, actually. So I got my master's degree in biostatistics, and I've always been interested in health and really good at math. And so that pushed me into biostatistics. And then when I was working as a master's level statistician with the Cancer Center, I learned a lot more about cancer, and then cancer struck my family. And between those two things, it was a no-brainer that I needed to spend my life focused on cancer research.
And what kind of led you to the field that you're in right now with epidemiology, with OBGYN? What kind of pushed you that direction?
So really, it was a lot of really great mentors. So at the time when I was being a statistician, I ended up working with a great cancer epidemiologist, Dan Lazovich, and I also spent a lot of time working with Melissa Geller in gynecologic oncology. And between the two of them, I saw the great work that they were doing, and it felt like an area that I could contribute to. And then in my work, I've diverged a little bit from the two of them in that I actually focus on cancer survivors specifically. And again, I think that really stemmed from some of the personal experiences in my family and seeing that cancer really changes everything in a person's life and their family's life. And so that was an area of research that's just really important to me.
Well, that's an important thing to point out here. Not only do we worry about at the Masonic Cancer Center about prevention and curing cancer, but we also deal with people on the survivorship end. Once that they've hopefully beat cancer, gotten past the cancer diagnosis, and they're in a different part of their life. There's still going to be complications with that, but survivorship is such a growing field, and it's just, I'm sure that's got to be interesting for you to be in that realm.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because of the great work that my colleagues are doing in basic science and in clinical treatments, we now have fantastic survival for a lot of our cancer patients, but that also means that we have this very large population of cancer survivors that we're just learning now what their experiences are, what their concerns are, what their long-term issues are. And so there's a lot of work to be done to catch up with all of the survivors that we now have.
So on a normal, if we were in our office, maybe this is 2 months ago, what does a normal day look like for you in the research and the studies that you're doing?
So I'm lucky that actually the transition to home has not changed a lot for me, other than a lot of Zoom meetings instead of in-person meetings. And because truly at the end of the day, most of the work that I do involves collecting survey data, recruiting patients into studies, and analyzing that data. And so most of the time when I am working, I'm either in meetings or at my computer. So the actual physical work has not changed, but the scope of my work has changed dramatically. So we have now had to suspend all of our studies that are recruiting patients. And so that are recruiting patients in person that require any in-person contact. And so for me, that's all of my grant funded work actually is all currently suspended. And so that has been a major transition for me.
Speaking of transition, you've also kind of transitioned, knowing that the world that we're living in, from cancer into the coronavirus COVID-19. Tell us a little bit about that.
So because all of my grant funded work is suspended, I needed to pivot, and I think it was an important pivot. So I'm finding a way to still do my cancer survivorship work, focus on cancer patients, while also trying to understand how COVID-19 is affecting them and affecting our colleagues, the oncologists that are treating them. And so we very quickly have now implemented national survey studies to measure the emotional health and well-being and decision-making of oncologists, and then the impact that that has on cancer patients that are currently receiving treatment and cancer survivors. So we know that people receiving cancer therapy are really getting hammered, I think, personally, right now. Not only are they at high risk for severe disease from COVID or death from COVID, but they're also now receiving, because of a lot of good reasons, suboptimal treatment. And so they really need extra support. And the oncologists who are having to make those really tough decisions because we don't have enough hospital supplies, we don't have enough blood, we don't want to put the patients at risk because of that. They're making really tough decisions. And so this is a really good time to be studying that, to make sure that we are best supporting people through this really tough time.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. You see the stories about people who maybe have to put off a BMT treatment, or they're trying to do the telemedicine, where some of these patients need to get into the office, but just due to physical and social distancing, it's not safe right now for them to do that with their weakened immune system. So it'll be interesting to see some of the findings that you have from a patient and from a provider perspective. And where can people find that information? I know we might not want to give out the full website just because it's so long, but I will put that at the bottom here. But social media, is that how you're trying to get out to people?
So yes, so we're promoting both studies through social media. And actually the goal really is to start publishing these data really fast, so that we can help people now, get some information out now that can change. I don't suspect that circumstances are going to change very quickly. And, and truthfully, some of the work that we've done has been before a lot of states have hit their peaks. And so I think that we can learn from the experiences in Washington, the experiences in New York, and hopefully make things better for people in other states as they get closer to having their cases peak.
Yeah, it's such an interesting situation that we're in. I'm sure that you, as you're interested in this, I'm sure you're looking forward to getting back into some of your regular research once things get back to normal, whatever normal is. So what are you most looking forward to, once you crush this study, get all this great information about COVID-19 and share that with the world? What are you looking forward to for maybe the second half of 2020 and into the future?
So, I think most importantly is that we start these clinical trials up again. We start enrolling these studies. We get labs back online. To me, that's the other heartbreak of this entire thing, is that cancer research is almost entirely paused. And so I really want to see that restarted as soon as possible. We've made really, really great strides in cancer research over the last decade, and I really hate to see that momentum being halted.
Right. And you hope that maybe it's just, for the future's sake, you hope that it's the momentum is halted and that we're not taking steps backwards. Because I did have to go into the office and grab some things, and my office is in a research building, and there was just nothing going on because of this social distancing, the physical distancing. We have to keep people separate. I think it's the right thing that we have to do right now for the safety of everyone. But like you said, you hope that we're not losing momentum through this whole process.
Right, exactly. I think that in an ideal world, by the end of 2020, we're back on track, moving all of our field forward, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to maybe going to a coffee shop and doing things that feel a little more normal. I think that will help too.
Yeah. On a personal note, we have a small coffee maker at home. We are already searching and scouring the internet because we need an upgrade, because it's just not cutting it with being home all the time. On a personal note, how are you coping with being at home all the time with your family and adjusting to this new life that we have?
So it has been a real adjustment. So I have two little kids at home and a working spouse. And so we are, I have done a lot of early morning, late night meetings now, trying to make everything work. I also think I might have a second job as an art teacher. I've been working really hard with my preschooler to work on her letters, and it's a lot. It's a lot right now. But I think for me, work has always been an outlet, and so I'm actually really thankful that we ramped up the work that we did, so I can keep that focus and balance that with time with my children.
Yeah, well, you get to spend all this great time with your family, and you're still getting to do this great research. So you are giving us hope for the future. And I want to end on this one, and this is how I'm probably going to end all of our these interviews. But what gives you hope?
So,
It's a loaded question, I know, but as you're thinking about the research that you're doing, who you get to work with, the outcome. I mean, it could be anything, but what right now, as you think about moving into the future, into the second half of 2020, what gives you hope?
I think what gives me hope is that we as a society have gone through this before, right? So things will change. I was a senior in high school when 9/11 happened, and it changed. Everything changed, but eventually we found a new normal, and I think that's really what I just keep hanging on to. That we will find a new normal. We will move forward. I work with so many passionate people. I don't, none of us are going to forget why we do what we do. If anything, it's actually more solidified. I think we really, really have to be, extra focused on cancer during this time and certainly moving forward. And so, that passion and all the great people that I work with, I truly believe that we will be back on track.
Awesome. I agree too. So share with people really quick where they can find maybe you on social media if they want to find you, and the study. Where can they find that on social media?
So you can find out about the study at Cancer UMN, and you can find more about myself. That's on Twitter. And my Twitter handle is RI Vogel, and I have a department research website as well. If you can link that, I don't know where.
And we'll put that on right here. So awesome. Dr. Vogel, thank you so much for joining us. For all of you that have any questions or are interested in the study, like she said, check that out. It's Twitter. It's at Cancer UMN. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you real soon.